Okay. Greetings, family. I know it's late. Yeah, I really didn't think I was going to do this today, but Happy New Year. I'm not going to be loud because everybody's back home now. You feel me? I'm not going to try to get too hype. You feel me? But I did want to do a live tonight. One, wishing everybody a Happy New Year. Two, talking about the previous year. Three, talking about the coming year. And I may even, if anybody joins, I may even bring people on for those that are tuning in via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So, for those of you who do not know, my name is Cassandra Floyd. I am also known as the Daughter of the Fates. I am the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And I am here today just to take a deep breath. We made it through. 2023 is a thing of the past, baby. And I felt inclined, probably as a consequence of looking for ways to procrastinate, to be honest. But I thought while I was sitting here that I'd been studying for some hours, but I was like, you know what? I should do a live. People haven't heard from me. I think Friday was the last time I did a live, and that was finishing the book, Pure Lust. Greetings, Solis Live. Solis Love, excuse me, baby. I don't know if you got my message, but I sent you a message on Facebook. Anyway, so Friday, we finished the book, Pure Lust, that we had been reading since the beginning of October. And around the beginning of October. So we finally finished that accomplishment, right? And we're going to start the book club discussion for Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly on next Wednesday. So be looking out in your Facebook notifications because that's where I'll be sending it out. I'll be sending it out there. Anyway, so that is an accomplishment. We'll talk about I would just want to talk to you guys. Like, it's been like the end of the new year was pretty radical for me, obviously, because y'all are kind of grown accustomed to me posting about 6 days a week, doing lives about 6 days a week. But those last maybe 3 or 4 weeks of the last year, I've been working. Today, I had to force myself to take the day off. And that was, literally forced, because I have this setup where if people want to hire me, I get alerts, and it was going off and going off and going off and going off. And I was like, damn, man, shit, I could have made about $500 today. And I kept having to say, okay, don't do it. You need today off, right? So today is the first day in about 8 weeks that I felt like, and y'all know how it is. It ain't new. You understand? That end of the year, those last 3-4 months, everything is urgent. Everything feels urgent. Everything feels pressing. And so I'm no different, even though I was really trying to navigate that shit with a sense of grace. It is what it is. So today is my first day off in like 11 days, like literally 11 days. So I was like, you know what? Shit kept trying to push me to work, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. So anyway, I just wanted to take this time, maybe more than anything, to just kind of like digitally document my reflections for 2023. Because it's really easy to look at your immediate surroundings, or even your urgency, or even those things that are looming, and say, damn, you know what I'm saying? And we all do it. The end of the year is encroaching, and we start not panicking, but like being overly self-critical because of, quote, what we didn't accomplish, or what goals we had set that we didn't meet, or whatever. And there was a lot that I wanted to accomplish this past year, and there was a lot. I'm a Virgo with the Capricorn moon, so we do be highly ambitious, like overly ambitious. You feel me? So, but trying to, again, be in the spirit of giving myself grace, I sat down today, didn't write anything down. Maya and Mama, how you doing? But I sat down today just to say, okay, yes, there was much that you wanted to accomplish, right? But what did you actually accomplish? And I started looking back at the last year, and baby, I pulled motherfucking jack moves this past year. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, who is the Facebook user? Because again, Facebook don't show me who you are. Hey girl, who is that on Facebook watching? Greetings, Asia. I love you too, whoever you are on Facebook. Oh, Misty, that's my boo. That's my boo. Okay. So I really sat down today because it would have been easy for me to get in my head. Like I said, these alerts kept coming up on my phone. You know how it is when money calls, you be like, should I go get this money? But today I said, okay, today is my day to honor myself. Today is my day to be still. Today is my day because I didn't have a New Year's. I worked New Year's. I worked New Year's Eve. I worked Christmas. Like I said, I've been working literally every single day for the last 11 days without a day off. So I was like, today is going to be my day to just kind of be still. And I started thinking about, reflecting on the year, because this year, as radical in a good way as it was also as tumultuous as it was. For those of you who are new to my page, for those of you who do not know, I founded the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence this year. We started a new religion this year, right? That was huge. And we started the year this week, last year, so incredibly. Like, we had our first temple service this week, last year, on a Cancer full moon. And everything just strategically laid itself out fluidly for us to take on this task that we took on, right? And everything was going lovely. We got a place, didn't have to pay for the place. It was a beautiful art gallery. This brother was like, look, take the place. We ain't using it. Go ahead and do what you got to do. You understand? Having weekly services in this art gallery. And maybe 2 months after we started the temple services, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And so it pumped the brakes on everything. I went home for 2 months, 2.5 months, and to be there for her as she was transitioning through the initial stages of like chemo and all of that stuff. And I was on autopilot. I drove across the country because I wanted to bring everything that I used to treat people here home to help my mom. So I took my whole office to Alabama, drove cross country, got out there, you know what I'm saying? Closed the chapter on Florida finally while I was there, gathering up my things in my storage unit. It was so much. And I didn't realize how much it was in that 2.5 months until I got home. And I was like out of my mind, exhausted. So I didn't work for 2 months. I was like, I know bills keep coming, but I cannot. Like, it was so much that happened from February to June, energetically, cosmologically, with my family, with my daughter, with my mother. It was a lot. Plus, this past year that we just came out of, was the 30-year anniversary of the murder of my father. So energetically, I was like, spiritually, I was juggling a lot. And I really wasn't, a lot of the time, I'd say half the time, I was not allowing myself to fully sit in, be present in these more pressing things that were happening with me. And so that was a lot. And then when I came back, feeling the urgency to fulfill this obligation, I have just created this institution called the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I felt this this obligation to get right back into, posting daily, reading daily, teaching daily, right? While trying to juggle again, like my foundation, my living situation, right? Like my home and my bills and the this and the that. And yeah, so it's been a lot. In the midst of all of that kind of stuff, the 30th anniversary of my father's death, I missed my 30-year class reunion. I was kind of down about that. You understand? My mother getting really sick, there were other things that I had done. Even so, I could have stopped at just founding the temple. It was huge. It was huge. And y'all know me by now. I hate bureaucracy so much. Y'all do not even understand how much I hate bureaucracy. So the founding of the temple was not a small thing for me. The paperwork, oh my God, the paperwork alone, you understand? Like the legalities, it was a lot, right? So I could have stopped there. I could have been like, damn, I've started a new religion. I founded a temple this year. That's it. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm accomplishing. Everything else is about making this money and keeping myself straight. But I didn't. I just finished practicing about an hour ago. I started taking sitar lessons. That's huge. Probably highly ambitious. You understand? I haven't played music at all in 25 years. Music is my foundation, but I haven't played an instrument of any kind in 25 years. And I met this guy and he was like, do you want to learn how to play the sitar? I was like, oh my God, I've been obsessed since I was a kid. Yes, I want to learn how to play the sitar. So I started taking sitar lessons. And then, this same year, my mother bought me a saxophone. I had been lamenting for years, since about 10 years, about how I really wanted to just chisel out the coins to buy myself another saxophone. I hadn't played in years. I was really missing it. I was really missing producing music, playing music, using my breath to create something, right? My mama bought me a saxophone, beautiful, sexy, black lacquer saxophone. So I started deliberately saying, okay, I ain't got no excuse now. I got to get reacquainted with this horn. So I started taking saxophone lessons about 2 months ago. So I was like, damn, I really did a lot this year. I really did a lot, right? I reopened after four years, I think. I reopened my my Etsy account. I hadn't done jewelry in a long time, not like full on. So I did that, relaunched my Etsy. I did a lot this year on top of the work, on top of putting my hands on people, on top of consultations, on top of readings for people, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to be hard on myself. I did a lot. There were things that I would have liked to have accomplished before the year closed out, but I accomplished a lot. I did good, right? Baby, let me tell you, not just that, y'all have been walking with me for some time. Not just the quote technical things, the benchmark things, but y'all been walking with me, especially through these last maybe since August. It's been big, radical shit that's been happening that we've been walking through. The eclipse season and how insane that was. I'm still processing all the madness that happened during the eclipse season. For those of you who don't know, go back to the eclipse lives that we did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this year was intense. You understand? Not just in our personal lives, but obviously globally and politically, it's intense. So I wanted to really I think the biggest reason for me doing this live tonight was just to call on us to give ourselves grace. Stepping into this new year, to give ourselves grace. Greetings, Amber. Greetings, Leger. Give yourselves grace. Just last year was a lot. And this year promises to be more. And we have to seize ownership of how we navigate through it. We can't continue to be the victims of quote fate, right? We have to take hold of the reins and deliberately and purposefully navigate through this year that we are in. It is officially 2024. This year, I have been talking to you guys about, if you go back and back and back and back, I've been talking to you guys about the significance of this year since 2020, since 2019, as a matter of fact. Since 2019, I have been talking to you guys about the significance of 2024, of the potentially permanently transformative power being gifted to us in this year. And simultaneously, so while yes, I have been saying for quite some time, anybody that pays attention to cosmology, astrology, since February of 2022, we have literally been handed a galactic, cosmic silver platter, allowing us the opportunity to shape and construct our wildest imaginings. But at the same time that this cosmological silver platter has been handed to us, those that are fighting to maintain a stranglehold on the planet are going to do everything possible, everything imaginable and unimaginable to maintain hegemony over the lives of the rest of us, you see. So it will be easy if we are not deliberate, the same way that we're very deliberate in our very personal lives about how we internalize the new year. Okay, the new year, we have to do our resolutions. We have to map out our calendar. We have to, do our vision boards. That kind of deliberate kind of action that we take in the new year. We have to be just as deliberate collectively about what we will not allow to sway our vision for the future. Because I am telling you, we are in an election year. And you all know, those of you who are old enough to remember it all, every election year, those 2 years, one of which we just came out of, the next of which we are entering into, those 2 years before a presidential election, they're never uplifting and hopeful and, what's the other word I'm looking for? Uplifting and hopeful. And, they never do that. They go hard. When I say they, I mean those that are in positions of power. Go hard to ensure and instill global collective fear that the only hope we have is to vote. The only hope we have, and to ensure that you realize or you internalize the only hope that you have is the vote. Watch what they do. All you got to do is look every year before a presidential election, what happens? We talked about this before. One of the things that happens is a sharp increase in school shootings and public shootings and gun violence. So much violence. It's a cycle every elective year. Absolutely. Every election year. Absolutely. But what I am telling you is this election year, greetings, Samara, this election year is different. This election year is different than any other election year since the birth of this country. This election year. And the reason why is because this election here is happening within the context of the Pluto returns that I've been talking to you about since 2020, right? And what the Pluto return, the energy of the Pluto return promises. A massive swing of the pendulum, right? A massive swing. And are we priming and positioning ourselves to ensure that the pendulum swings in our favor, because listen, the cosmic silver platter is real. Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto swinging into Aquarius is the energy that says, if you are going to win something for yourself, now is the time to do it. Aquarius wants you to win. Pluto wants you to win. Jupiter wants you to win. Venus wants you to win. So if there was ever a time in human history for your prayers, for your ancestors' prayers to be finally fulfilled, for an ushering in of the end of the age of oppression, for ushering in an age of true sovereignty, true beautiful evolutionary leaps forward, this year is the year to plant that seed, boo. But what happens is I get it. The scientist in me gets it, gets our reservation, gets our hesitation when we hear certain types talk about energy, right? I understand, okay? Probably better than most. The scientist in me kind of gets the heebie-jeebies when I hear somebody talk about energy, especially when that somebody doesn't talk about the real world. Talks in these ambiguities and these abstractions. But when I talk about energy, I am talking about a process energy, a process that is the culmination of historical events, political events, spiritual events, social events, economic events that arrive at the same place at the same time to guarantee a certain outcome. That's what I mean when I talk about energy. I'm not talking in some wild, sweeping, hippie-esque ambiguities. I am saying that cosmologically and scientifically and historically, the arrangement that we are existing in right now guarantees that if we can take the reins on our behavior, on our thinking, on our interactions with one another, that we can finally and once and for all ensure that the pendulum swings in our favor, in our direction, right? There are so many, and you can go back to I think I did 7 or 8 Pluto returns workshops that are posted on my YouTube page, and you can go back to them because they're long and they're in depth, right? I'll try to do Cliff's notes in the future, the coming weeks or whatever. But there are so many historical examples globally of the impact, the potential, and the recognized impact of a nation entering a Pluto return. And they all document them. So while I'm talking to you about this and all you hear is astrology and cosmology, baby, every nation on this country marks and pays attention to the occurrences that happen during their Pluto returns, which only happens every 248 years or so. You understand? And so for us, so-called lay people, right, working every day, doing our thing, how can we take hold of the reins, right? How can we ensure that what we are engaged in is not us being chronically reactive to the despair that is going to come down, that all they're going to have for us is despair. All they're going to have is war talk. All they're going to have is, oh my God, what's happening in school? Oh my God, I'm telling you, y'all know it's not even make-believe. Y'all know what it is. Every election year, it's all things doom and gloom to ensure that the only salvation that you see is behind that booth at them polls. You feel me? And so what is the call, right? What is our responsibility? And what do we need to do collectively? Collectively. That's the key word this year. Collectively. All of us have been behind closed doors doing our personal work, and that's been necessary. cleaning out, our dirty closets, you feel me? Doing our shadow work, you feel me? Doing our affirmations and meditations. We all been doing that for some time. That has been necessary to strengthen and to mold, to make us more aware and in tune when things happen that are unquestionably in alignment with what it is we say we want to do. Now, the real task, I believe, in this year is the collectivization, if that's a word, the collectivization of those efforts, right? That's the task. You understand? Like, that's the task for me. And I've been saying this for some time. What I would like to see happen is, for those of us who grew up in the church, especially in the Southern church, like what it means when somebody says revival, right? Some week long, revival of the spirit, you feel me? Is going to happen at some church somewhere, and you're going to be in church from sun up to sundown for 7 days during this revival. And you see these mega churches, in Texas and in Atlanta, thousands and thousands and thousands of parishioners coming together in one voice and in one accord. And even if that one voice and that one accord is on some bullshit, they are coming together. They are galvanizing what is science energy, collective energy. What am I always saying? We don't pray, we conspire. They are conspiring when they go to these revivals. They are conspiring when they pray together in one accord, when they sing together in one accord, right? And we have not matched that energy. The last live I did, I think, before I finished reading the book, maybe it was Thursday or Wednesday. Greetings, Grace. I talked about the concept of this coming year needing to really focus our energy on the creation of institutions of dual and contending power. I went into a whole diatribe about all dual and contending power means scientifically is what? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And the problem, the failure on our part, is that we have not collectively is the word, we have not collectively created institutions of dual and contending power, an equal and opposite response to that which we say we want to see no more, right? And so what does that mean? I talked about it in depth. I'm not going to go into it deep here, but I talked about it in depth. I said, what has to happen is we are going to have to say together, what can we take, what discussions, what convictions can we table? Can we table to ensure a future for humanity? What isms do we hold on to? Not saying that those isms are wrong, but what isms do we hold on to that are secondary, that can be tabled for later to prioritize that thing that we all say in our isms we want to see made real for the future, for ourselves, for our offspring, for our descendants, for the global population. And so those things that we have been hyper focusing on have dissuaded our energy, our collective energy that can collectivize us enough in a way that we can actually contend. That the human family can actually contend. That the human family can actually establish institutions of dual and contending power, which scientifically means issuing and facilitating an equal and opposite response. Not just an opposite response, baby. And equal and opposite response. And collectivization is the word for the year. Collectivization is the word for the year. I say collectivization because the word unity for me is frustrating. The word unity for me is frustrating because it seems like, I may be wrong, but for me, who overthinks everything, it seems to me to be an instrument that attempts to negate very real, uh, very real complaints that individual groups may have, right? Very real, legitimate struggles that individual groups may have. And unity, to me, has always felt like this insidious weapon that has been used to silence the very legitimate issues and struggles that individual groups of people may have. You understand? So that's why I choose collectivization over unity, right? Collectivization to me feels more like a like an honest political strategy of acknowledging those peculiar struggles and issues while saying, okay, these are important and they are not negated. We are going to collectivize our efforts while recognizing these issues exist. But these unifying commonalities that we have can allow us to create more political space for us, create more political territory for us. Does that make sense? Because I talk about hippie shit a lot because it frustrates me, right? And so for me, when we talk about united and unity, it just seems very hippie-esque. It seems like a way to negate, to subdue, to quiet discord. People have a right to discord. People have a right to rage. People have a right to anger. People have a right to grieve. And I feel like when we talk about, quote, uniting, the way that it's been put out in the past, it's been a way to kind of like shush people. And that's not what we need. What we need is collectivization. Mr. Kali Soul, how you doing, dear? What we need is collectivization of efforts so that even as we have our differences and our different isms, that those things that unite us, those things that we can agree on, which the globe over, there are several things that we can agree on. Those things that we can agree on can galvanize enough energy, enough bodies, enough effort, right? To contend. Because I'm trying to tell you, I will forever tell you. Einstein said it. What? For every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. This is the laws of the universe. This is the laws of physics. For every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. But because propaganda is such a stealth and effective weapon, we have not issued an equal and opposite response. We have not issued an equal and opposite response to patriarchy. We have not issued an equal and opposite response to capitalism. We have not issued an equal and opposite response. Equal and opposite, not just opposite. It's easy to oppose, but if you ain't got no power, it's not equal. An equal and opposite response to colonialism, to hegemony, to rape culture, to violence. We have not nowhere in a whole ass meeting have we staged contention that is scientifically equal and opposite, right? This is the work. And so it's also the dichotomy that those of us who are in the know live in, because we know that love and light are necessary. We know that gratitude and joy are necessary. We know that living with bliss is necessary. But for me and for many, who practice, quote, alternative traditions, who are engaged in, or involved in the traditions of our ancestors were not duplicitous. Even as you must, even as you must demonstrate gratitude, even as you must do all of these things, you also have to preserve the ability to be happy and joyful, blissful. You understand? You have to preserve. What does it mean to preserve? It means be able to defend. It means be able to secure safety, happiness, bliss, joy, gratitude. It means to be able to secure that. Yeah. So this year is exciting. I will forever say it. Even I've said it all year last year. As tumultuous as last year was, what did I keep saying over and over? Yes, shit is hard. Yes, shit is difficult. Yes, shit can be burdensome. But this overall period that we are existing in is exciting if we keep here in front of our face all the time that it is a part of a bigger. This period in history, baby, is one of those periods that 80 years from now, 120 years from now, people will look back to and say, whoa, this was radical what was happening in the United States. We do it now. 100 years ago, we were in the 2020s. The 2020s changed everything culturally, spiritually, politically, economically. The 1920s changed everything. It was like a giant cosmic pivot, not only in the United States, all over the planet. And culture in the United States, art in the United States, politics in the United States, revolutionary struggle in the United States, spirituality in the United States really set the stage for transformations that were happening all over the planet. And here we are again, primed 100 years later to do exactly the same thing. And people are watching. People all over the planet are watching what happens here, what is set off here, what is born in this period. And this is how we have to approach, especially the next 7 years. This is how we have to approach it. That the 2020s, the decade of clear vision, the 2020s, the decade where Mother Oya is reunited with Shango, Pluto in Aquarius, to dance with one another, on behalf of the many, on behalf of the oppressed, for the next 20 years. You understand? How do we show up and what role do we play? That's one thing that I want to say. That's one thing that I know that went on for a while, but it's so important. How is music going to change in this decade? Because it has to. How is art going to change in this decade? Because it has to. How are the rights of women, half the planet, how not the rights, I don't even like that word, how is the total existence of half the population on earth, women, going to be transformed in this decade? And with the transformation of women in this decade, what is the permanent impact that it will have on the future? What role will we all play to ensure this transformation is certain? You understand? Yeah. What else? How is the economy going to be transformed in this decade? Because it was radically transformed 100 years ago in the 1920s. How is this decade going to transform how we understand wealth, how we understand wealth acquisition, how we understand the value of labor, the right to live? Because all that will be transformed this decade, and radically. You understand? So I just want to encourage you. No matter what I'm talking about, I want you to understand that it's from a place of encouragement. It's from a big picture place that this year's is ours for the taking. If we can blot out the noise, if we can collectivize our efforts, this year is ours for the taking. Because listen, I'm going to tell you, even the most reactionary humans in this country, and we know who those reactionaries are, whether they're white nationalists, whether it's the manosphere, whether any kind of reactionary shit, no matter who the reactionaries are in this country, maybe even they are exhausted with the way the world is. They can't articulate it, so they lash out. They can't articulate it, so they keep it simple and superficial. You understand? Like a starving dog being dragged around his collar with the promise of food, with the promise of nourishment. You understand? Even the worst reactionary is desperate for something different. But because their dogma, because their ideology, because their religion has them vehemently opposed to evolution and the beauty that it promises, the gifts that it ensures us, they would keep us held back in the quagmire. So, everybody's exhausted on this shit. And so we have to clearly define, each individual and collectively, we have to define clearly what the world is. The future is what it is. What is the future? Clearly, collectively define what is the future. And then ensure that every effort that we make in this year is directly tied to this collective vision that we have about what the future is. Not what the future will be, what the future is. What am I always telling you, honey? What am I always telling you? Thank you so much for your donation, Mr. Kali Soul. What am I always telling you? Always, always, always. Huh? You predict the future by creating it. You predict the future by creating it. You predict the future by creating it. This year is ours for the taking. So if we can get out of our little sensitivities, you understand, about what ancient dinosaur pale-skinned dude we gonna vote for, this ridiculous dialogue about lesser evils, do not get caught up. Not this year. This year is ours for the taking. This year is ours for the taking. So, yes, baby. Mr. Kali Soul say we will step into leadership roles in mass after Big Mama flips the script. Yes, you understand. So, I guess, let's see. There were some other things I wanted to talk to you about, but I think I'm going to end there. So there are a couple of housekeeping things I do want to mention. Again, for those of you who tuned in late, next Wednesday, just follow the Great Cosmic Mother, the Great Cosmic Mother Book Club Facebook group to get updates on when we will be doing the book club on this book that we finished Friday. We finished this book on Friday, Pure Lust by Mary Daly. We will be doing a book club on this book 2 Wednesdays a month. So not tomorrow, but the following Wednesday, we'll be doing our first book club, or resuming our book club on that Wednesday. And we'll be doing it to the second and fourth Wednesday of every month until we've covered the book. So if you're interested in participating in the book club, you can email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. So that's going to be a big piece of work for us, because that book was deep. I've been listening to the reread of it. So those of you who don't know and don't have the book, you can go on my YouTube channel. I read the entire book on YouTube. So you can just look up Pure Lust and see all the readings of Pure Lust. It was deep. It was heavy. It was visceral. It was awesome. That book was awesome. So we will be combing through that book with a fine-tooth comb. Yes. Also, I will be resuming the temple services. So I didn't do a temple service the entire month of December. I am still in talks with two groups. They're collectives. They're artist collectives that have space available for rent. So I will be talking to these two collectives in the coming weeks to determine how we're going to do the temple service. I'll be honest, it probably won't be every week like it had been. Not until I can pull some things together that make it more practical for me to do that every week. So it may be like the book club. It may be twice a month that we do. It may even be once a month, truth be told, that we do the, depending upon what it's going to cost to secure a space to do temple services. I will not be doing temple services out of my home anymore. We have to grow the temple, and in order to grow the temple, we have to have a space where people can come. Okay, so that's another thing on the agenda, pretty ASAP, is to determine when we'll be doing temple services and where we'll be doing those temple services from. So you can keep in touch with me again through releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com for updates and information about the coming temple services. I haven't sent it out yet, but in the next week, a calendar of events, a proposed calendar of events for the temple this year. So that too, though, of course, that will be local, but we will stream just like we do everything, those events. So that information too, I've already drafted out the entire calendar for the year. So that too will be coming. And, I have a meeting locally with the Small Business Administration and also like their affiliate SCORE about how to best streamline the functionality of the temple. So those are some of the less glamorous aspects of doing this work. And then I also have a meeting with a brother who's going to help me start marketing the temple. I'm talking to him about bumper stickers, t-shirts, posters, and regular stickers, so we can start marketing the temple. So, that's what we got. So again, if you have any questions, if you need to get a reading for the new year, this week is a great year to consolidate a reading for yourself. If you need a reading, if you need to get a wellness consultation, I know everybody's making their New Year's resolutions, and I am a healthcare professional with a background in traditional Chinese medicines, focusing on 5 elements theory. So if you are interested in getting a complete wellness consultation, or if you're interested in getting a reading, I read my primary tools of divination are the I Ching and the Medicine Woman Tarot deck. So if you're interested in getting a reading for the new year, if you're interested in getting a consultation for the new year, hit me up at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. That is all I have for you, because now I'm going to segue into some other stuff before the night gets away from me. But I'm glad I decided to go ahead and log in and do this live. And yeah. So happy New Year, everyone. Happy day New Year. You feel me? Happy day New Year. And yes, let's kick this shit into overdrive. Let's make a mark in history. Let's go ahead and make a mark in history. Okay? All right. I'm Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, and I will see you again surely soon. All right. Peace. Peace, everybody.